You're going to start seeing these numbers. They happen every year. We always get you ready for not only an NFL game and an NFL season, we get you ready for NFL coverage. We get you ready for NFL overreactions sometimes. We get you ready for what's more likely. That's what we do Fridays. Honestly, we get you set. And we front load. You're going to hear these numbers quite a bit. Because in between weeks 1 and 2, these are the numbers you hear every football season. The difference between starting 2-0, 1-1, and 0-2. Okay? Hold on. Put that. I'll throw this to you in a second. Just give me a second here. Since 1990, 277 teams have started 2-0, and 177 of those made the playoffs. We do the math for you. We always will do the math for you here. That's 63.9%. Round up 64% of 2-0 teams make the playoffs. Now, if you got a chance to go 2-0, you go to 1-1. What does that mean? 493 teams have started 1-1 since 1990. 207 of those made the playoffs. That's 42%. All right.
Okay.
Less than a coin flip, though.
Yeah.
So it's helpful to win that second game if you can. If you're 0-1, you're trying to get to that 1-1 level, and you don't. 279 teams since 1990 started 0-2. 32 of them made the playoffs. That is... Sorry, Jonathan Tucker's trying to FaceTime me in the middle of me reading this off.
Wait, really?
Yes. 279 teams have started 0-2. And I'm on the air, Tucker. 32 of those teams made the playoffs. That's 11.5%. Yeah. Now, you may be sitting there and saying, well, wait a minute, Rich. Wait a minute. 1990. That's old. Those numbers don't suffice anymore.
A long time ago.
Well, it's not just that. Since 2021... we've been playing 17-game seasons, so you got one more game to dig out of that 0-2 hole, right? Mm-hmm. So remember these numbers here. Okay? Since 1990, 64% of 2-0 teams make the playoffs. Since 1990, 42% are 1-1 teams make the playoffs, and 0-2 teams, 11.5%. You'd think the numbers for not making the playoffs when you're 0-2, they go up, wouldn't you?
I would think that, yes.
That's not the case.
Oh.
Since 2021, since there's a 17-game season, anybody that started 2-0, 77% of those teams have made the playoffs.
Whoa.
That is up from 64%. 51 teams have started 1-1. 23 of them have made the playoffs. It's 45%, up from 42.
A little higher.
And with the extra game now, since this whole shebang started in 2021, 21 teams have started 0-2, and only 2 have made the playoffs. That's 9.5%. Your opportunity to make the playoffs 0-2 have gone down, even with more regular season games. Go figure that. I would not have guessed that.
That's some weird, wacky stuff.
So last year,
interesting,
when it clearly was a 17-game season, 9 teams started 0-2. Only 1 made the playoffs. The Houston Texans, they won their division.
That's 11%, yeah. Interesting.
Only 1. And you'd think, again, it would be more because you've got more of an opportunity to dig out of the hole. It's actually less, which means even with the extra regular season game, it's even more urgent to not start 0-2. And that leads to my top 5 list of the 0-1 teams that need to win this week the most. Hit it.
High five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rich's top 5.
All right, everybody. I need some of the theme music here, and let's go. Again, there's 16 teams that are 0-1 right now. All of them are, after certainly hearing the numbers I just mentioned, the difference between starting 1-1 and 0-2 is massive. 45% of 1-1 teams since we've gone to a 17-game schedule have made the playoffs. Only 9% of teams that went 0-2 have made the playoffs. It's a massive difference. So all 16 will be like, yes, please, we have to win this week. I'm now going to cull the list down to 5, and it starts with right here in Los Angeles, California, the Los Angeles Rams, who placed 2/5 of their offensive line in injured reserve along with Puka Nacua on IR just this week. They are banged up. They are going to Arizona, which, as we saw, showed up in Western New York with quite a punch. They would love to punch out the Rams here and hold serve on their home field against a team that has been dominating them. But Aaron Donald's gone too, as we know. And the reason why I'm putting the Rams on this list is because right around the corner is the Rams home opener against the 49ers. When you were going to, we think, see Christian McCaffrey potentially even get his first start of the season. So coming up with a win here would be kind of crucial
big time
for the Rams. And a lot of the teams that you see here have, on my list, have some playoff hopes. Number 4. Who started 0-1 with a home loss? Didn't look very good on offense when everyone's expecting their offense to perform well. And has the Kansas City Chiefs next week. There's only one such team, and it's the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I know you could still sit here and say they start 0-2 and they still win their division, just like the Texans did last year. But that next step for Kirk Cousins and the Falcons, if they don't win Monday night in Philadelphia, is the two-time defending Kansas City Chiefs coming to their town. You're staring 0-3 right in the face. And what better way to just turn things around, certainly for Kirk Cousins, who, for a third straight year, is the road team quarterback in a Week 2 Monday nighter in Philadelphia. And he didn't perform very well in those circumstances when he was with Minnesota. And now here he comes to the Falcons. What better way to just turn it around and say, that was last week. We're going 1-1 and 1-1 against teams from Pennsylvania. And we're going to come in with a head of steam against Kansas City. And if they don't, they're staring 0-3 right in the face. And I don't have those numbers here in front of me. Don't worry, I will by next week. Number 3 on this list. And you heard Chris Canty, who from ESPN, just say this, that they have to get at least one win out of the next 2 games with backup Malik Willis, hopefully getting Jordan Love back in time. I'm putting the Packers here.
Ooh.
Because the rest of the Division 1, I understand the Vikings, you think they're less than. They've got the 49ers at home this week, and the Bears are in Houston this week, and they could be 1-1, and even if they go to 0-2, they're still within hailing distance of the teams in front of them. But if Malik Willis has the bang thing put on by the Colts defense, and he looks similar to the way we have seen him play already in the NFL, the Packers fall to 0-2, and they're going to start feeling a little bit unmoored and lost, and they're going to Tennessee the next week, too. And that's not going to be an easy game. People think the Titans are going to be homecoming this year. I would disagree. So they're home. It's their home opener. The Colts are coming in. They've got an improved defense in Green Bay. And they got Josh Jacobs, who looked really good in Brazil. And Joe Mixon just put a whole bunch of yards on this Colts defense on the ground. Let's get Josh Jacobs running and the defense getting Anthony Richardson moved around and go win this game. You're at home in Lambeau Field. You fall to 0-2 with Malik Willis, this could be a problem. Speaking of visiting Tennessee, if the Jets fall to 0-2, having looked the way that they did, and I understand that they're defending NFC champion 49ers, but look the way that they did on defense, and as lost as they looked, with the exception of 2 drives on offense, to fall to 0-2, having the Patriots come to town on a Thursday night, you could say the Patriots are beatable, sure, but throw the records out. Certainly when these 2 franchises meet, if they go to 0-2, the lines on the Fan and on K's show will be just lit for 3 days. And if they fall to the Titans, to fall to 0-2, that would be no bueno. And not to turn this into longtime listeners, first-time callers from the New York metropolitan area, number 1 on this list are the Giants. You cannot come out the gate, watch Saquon do what he's doing for the opponent in your division, and fall to 0-2, by losing at home to the Vikings and have Sam Darnold miss on only 5 passes and look as lost as you have, and then go down and lose a divisional game to a team starting a rookie in Jaden Daniels. Just can't do it. Can't do it where you're falling 0-2 and a hard 0-2. 1 in the conference, 2 in the conference, and 1 in division. This is a winnable game for the Giants on the road in division. Just turn it around and come up with the win and take the pressure off. Because next up for the Giants, they're at Cleveland and then have that Thursday night home game against the Dallas Cowboys. And if they go into this game 0-3 or 1-2, should they somehow prevail in one of the next 2 games, and the next snap that the Giants fans physically see themselves after what just happened with the Vikings is against the Cowboys, and they do against the Cowboys what they have done in the past, this could get ugly real fast with a visit to Seattle right after that and a home date with Cincinnati and Philadelphia right after that, and the Steelers hosting them right after that. You got to, I'm going to term it as must win as it gets. And that's my top 5.
Oh, sure.
All
right, we'll get one more.
I don't know. I'll throw this out there. I mean, I could sit here and say the Raiders as well, right?
The Raiders.
You know, because they have some hopes as well. You don't want to fall 0-2 in that division.
Oh, no.
Okay? I'll just say here, they need it. And quite frankly, every single one of us flying to Munich needs it. I'll put the Carolina Panthers here.
Interesting.
Dude.
But they had no expectation
I
for
know.
this year anyway.
I can sit here and say the Denver Broncos. I mean, listen, you could make the case for all 16.
You could.
I'm just going to say it, man. That was so awful what we saw in week 1. So very awful in week 1.
Yeah, they're going to beat the Chargers.
It just looked non-competitive.
Yeah.
But go home, hashtag keep pounding, and let's see some signs of life here. Otherwise, I mean, this thing can slide away in an absolute hurry. I'm not putting Cincinnati here either because they started 0-2 and have done stuff to start 0-2 also. But like I said, you look at the Carolina Panthers schedule. I mean, they need this win. My God, they need to win. Awful what just they lost by 37 to the Saints, man.
It wasn't close. I mean, it was over.
It was over when they got off the bus.
Yeah, first drive over.
All right, that's my top 5 list right there.
I thought you put Jacksonville on there.
I don't know. I mean, again,
that division isn't just a lock that it's Houston.
No,
so.
I understand that. And their next 2 games are at Buffalo and at Houston, and I know those are tough games, but you win those and you're back. I mean, and they're winnable for them. To be honest with you, they can do it. They've got the horses.
They should beat Cleveland this week, but yeah.
I'm also just talking about expectations and pressures and whatever. You could absolutely make a case, as I said, for all 16. Certainly when the difference between making the playoffs and winning and losing this week is 45% if you win and 9% if you lose. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.